welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my girlfriend Carol. How you doing, Carol?
Hey, what's up, weirdo?
Not much. It's been a good week here at Massive Late Fee. It is April the 14th, 1995. Don't mind that noise. Carol just decided we need some light.
I did, because we're sitting here in the dark.
Click.
No candles or anything.
I guess I should have lit candles for you.
How about some ambiance?
Burned some incense.
Incense.
We could get really... Well, hello. We're going to take you through the night. This dedication is going out to Brandon from Amanda. Or Sandy. Whatever her name was.
You sound like that late night guy, Alan Aldman or something.
Oh, yeah. Alan Alden,
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Ah! Okay.
Why did you just growl? What is wrong with you?
So, are you familiar with Wolfman Jack? That's Wolfman Jack.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, baby. And then the guy from WRF.
Sure.
Baby.
Uh-huh.
I'm just practicing different voices. So
you got any news for me today?
I do. No news is good news, and I have almost no news.
Uh-oh.
So it's almost good news.
Uh-oh.
No, I just have one thing.
Okay.
But it's kind of interesting. Consenting of sexy talk is okay now between consenting computers.
What?
So, apparently, according to this article, if it moves, regulate it. If it doesn't, subsidize it. That's often the Washington approach to the real world.
Okay.
And it says, so basically, there was a regulatory thing, Communications Decency Act of 1995. And basically, they wanted to try to regulate the internets. And it would make it a crime for consenting adults to transmit, make available any comment, request, suggestion, proposal, image, or any other communication which is obscene, lewd, lascivious, filthy, or indecent.
Wow. I mean, that's like most of the internet.
The punishment would have been 2 years and $100,000 fine.
Wow.
Yeah. So that got shot down.
Good. Whose stupid idea was that?
Well, it was bipartisan. Apparently, it was the article goes into some politics, which we generally don't go into. But basically, it said it was a marriage of the left's desire to censor things and make sure that there aren't like bad words on the air and stuff like that, and the rights Christian don't want any kind of obscenity stuff out there.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the impetus for it, but it got shot down because I guess cooler heads prevailed. As you said, there's like on a lot of those chat groups,
There's a lot of stuff going on.
ASL, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys all know what that means. Age, sex, location.
That's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you know whether or not you're allowed to flirt with somebody. That's basically it.
Yeah, that's why you go on the computer, right? No. We established a long time ago that you don't think that's cheating.
I don't think it's cheating, but no, that's not why I go on the computer.
So if you went on the computer and were flirting with some guy,
mm-hmm.
and then you decided to have an accident while you were talking to some guy, you decided to, maybe your hands go south of the border.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I'm just saying, if you did, that's not cheating.
No, that's cheating. But just talking about it's not cheating.
Talking about sex. Talking about having sex. Like basically writing a sexy story for you and the person you're talking to. Saying, oh, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. That's not cheating.
I don't think so.
You're a fucking monster.
Wow, that's pretty strong.
You really don't think that's cheating?
No.
To say, like, I'm going to lick you up and down and all that stuff.
No.
Okay, why?
Because it's not real. It's like this intangible, like,
You're really saying it. You're really writing it.
and somebody's really reading it. What if
Right.
I wrote an erotic novel? Would that be cheating?
Are you the star of the erotic novel? And is it being written specifically for another person?
No, but
So-
does that matter?
Yeah, that's what matters. So let's say our friend at school, Cindy.
Okay, Cindy.
Let's
Flopper.
no, the real.
I know.
You know who I'm talking about when I say, let's say, I decided to go to her and say, Carol and I are having problems in our relationship, and she doesn't do this or she doesn't do that, and Cindy says, oh, it's okay, and like comforts me and all that kind of stuff, right? Is that right or wrong?
It's wrong.
But we're not talking about sex.
I didn't say it was cheating. I said it's wrong.
But we're not talking about sex or anything.
But you're taking our emotional problems to someone else.
Exactly. It's a new thing they're calling an emotional affair. Correct. And affairs
He's like pointing at me like we're in a courtroom and he's a lawyer.
and affairs are cheating. So it's like it's not exactly the same thing. It's not like it's not having sex with another person. It's not that. But it's close to, it's a neighbor of cheating. It's taking, your emotional problems and stuff like that to another woman, confiding in another woman or another guy or whatever if you're a girl. And it's not right. It's harmful to the relationship. Now, you think it wouldn't be harmful to the relationship to be talking about all this sexual stuff with somebody else?
I wouldn't do it because I think that it would be harmful to the relationship, but I still think it's different than cheating. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's not the same thing.
Well, how? How is it not the same thing? Is it at least close? Is it at least related?
Okay, it's cheating adjacent, sure. I'll give you that.
It can see cheating from its window, right?
Yeah,
It can wave to cheating from its window.
sure.
All right, I guess I'll give you that. I still think it's cheating, total cheating.
But don't worry, because I'm not going to do that.
I
so-
think it's worse than kissing somebody else.
Really?
Like just one like kiss, yeah. Like not making out, but just like one kiss, yeah. I think it's worse because you're involving imagination, emotion, lust and stuff like that. Like it's all going into it. There's a lot of things going on if you're painting a sexual scenario with somebody.
But I mean, we're talking about strangers.
So
I don't think there's a lot of lust there because they don't know what the other person looks like. I
they
mean,
can imagine.
yeah, they're imagining, but they don't know.
And
it
then-
could be like, some 60-year-old truck driver talking to another 60-year-old truck driver, and they both think they're talking to some 16-year-old chick.
Oh God, that's gross. 16,
I'm just saying.
but
Fine, 18.
what if they're asking for pictures and stuff like that?
Okay.
Is that even possible? I don't even know. Takes a long time, right?
It's possible. I mean, yeah, not efficient, but possible, sure.
I'm just saying, I don't like it.
I'm not doing it, nor am I going to. So
But
you
I
don't
don't
need
like
to worry
the
about whether or not you like
I
it.
don't like the idea that you think it's okay.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't like my idea, but it's still my idea. It belongs to me.
Yeah, well,
I respect your idea,
something else is gonna.
but I'm holding on to mine.
Okay. Well, good for you. I'll keep that in mind if anyone ever starts flirting with me online.
I told you I'm not going to do it.
Okay, but it's not wrong if I do it.
I didn't say it wasn't wrong. I said it wasn't cheating. Stop twisting my words.
See, now all of a sudden, it's no good.
It was never any good, but it's not cheating.
What's the difference?
Physical touching is the difference.
Who cares?
There's a difference between fantasy and reality. I don't want you thinking about another girl when we're having sex either.
Okay, let me ask you. Well, yeah, okay. Is that cheating?
Yeah.
But that's a fantasy.
No. I mean, I meant no.
Let me ask you a question. So, watching pornography, not cheating.
Not cheating.
Let's say that eventually they come up with some kind of technology like the holodeck on Star Trek.
Okay.
And there were episodes like this too. Geordi had one where you can build whatever woman you want to.
Okay.
She's not real. She's composed of light or whatever, fantasy, but you can have sex in the holodeck. Is that cheating?
I don't understand how the holodeck works because if they're composed of light or whatever, how can you touch them?
You're not really touching them. It's an illusion.
But does it feel like they're touching them?
I guess.
Because if it looks like it and it feels like it, then it's pretty much the same thing as being real.
Let's say you can't touch them. You can only observe. Like it looks like they're doing stuff to you, but you can't really feel it. You have to do stuff to yourself.
I don't know. What do you think?
Is that cheating?
I think probably.
But that's not physical either. That's also fantasy.
But it's more real.
It's more real than what? Than saying it?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You are grasping at straws now. I can see in your face that you understand you've lost.
Well,
this
too
argument.
bad this is a verbal medium, so nobody else can. So let's move on.
All right. So we watched The Simpsons.
Do, 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 do.
That's what we watched.
Yep.
It was, what was the episode? I can't remember. I can't remember what it was called, but
Okay, what's the breed of dog that they have?
Greyhound.
So it was like a dozen.
Oh, it was
a dozen and a half greyhounds.
101 greyhounds or something
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of greyhounds. That's what it's called.
So Santa's little helper is destroying things in the house, just absolutely going nuts. They don't know why. Used to be such a well-tempered dog. He runs to the racetrack and sees a female dog that apparently he fancies, and we don't see it, but he starts to have relations. He starts in a AOL chat room conversation with the dog.
Right.
And as Bart says, it looks like he's trying to jump over her, but he can't make it. And apparently that's why he's been so out of sorts or whatever, acting out so much. Now, here's my question. They rescued him, first episode of this show, which was like
Right.
6 years ago.
From the racetrack.
Yeah. Which was, like I said, like 6 years ago, right?
Uh-huh.
And did he know that she's there? And how? Like, I don't understand. What, like, he ran to that racetrack like he knew there'd be a female dog there for him.
I think he was already in love with her and going to her.
But then, okay, so where, how did he know then? She's just been there that whole time too?
I don't know.
I don't know, it's weird.
It is weird.
I don't know, the kids aren't any older. I don't know how timing works on this show anyway. So they, they get together and everything, and, he just kind of lays around with her. What?
What? What do you mean?
staring at me for?
Because I'm
You're like-
listening. What the hell?
You keep, like, bobbing your head like, yeah.
It's called active listening.
No. What you were doing was not active listening.
What the fuck?
What you were doing was making weird faces at me.
Don't look at me. Just look at the wall, okay?
I don't know what I'm going to do with you.
I don't know either.
Anyway, turns out she's pregnant. And she gives birth to 25 puppies.
That is insane. That is an insane amount of puppies.
It's a lot.
Ugh.
Way more than normal.
I'm surprised she didn't just pop open. So gross.
Like a biscuit.
Right?
Like a biscuit tin.
Yes.
And all the puppies just come tumbling out. So they try to take care of them, but
Yeah, which is insane.
but that's too many of them. So eventually they have to give them away. But then Mr. Burns comes and it makes it look like he's going to want to make a coat out of them, which apparently he does want to make a coat out of them. Let's make a vest.
It's 101 Dalmatians,
Yeah.
and he's Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it. That's basically the episode.
That is not basically the episode.
Well, I don't want to talk too much. Why don't you talk?
Oh, don't. I will step on you, and it will hurt.
Where? How are you going to step on me? You are 5 times shorter than I am. What
I'll knock you
ladder are you
down
going to find?
first.
Step on? You going to climb up to the top of the World Trade Center and then step on me?
What the hell? Who are you, King Kong?
That was the Empire State Building.
Whatever.
Anyway, so
Oh, these hurt.
he takes the dogs and what's her name? Maggie, the other one, Lisa and Bart.
The one that's not a baby.
Lisa and Bart, they go over to his house and they see him bathing him, and it's like, oh, they do like it's like the double switcheroo, where they're like, oh, he's really just taking care of him, and then he's like, oh, I'll keep this one. The rest of them are going to be murdered and
Yeah.
made into a vest for me. I have a vest of all these different kinds of animals,
Yeah, he's gross.
like a gorilla or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And so they try to convince him not to do it, and then the dog does this trick where he stands up on his hind legs, just like Rory Calhoun.
What?
It's such a weird reference. Because he says, "Oh, it reminds me of that guy," you know, like, and Smithers is trying to guess. He's like, "No, you know, the guy is always walking on his 2 legs and everything, walking upright." And he goes, "Rory Calhoun." He says, "Yeah." Rory Calhoun's like an old actor that was in How to Marry a Millionaire
Okay.
stuff. I mean, like,
I have no idea. I did not get that
it's
reference
just
at
a
all.
really weird reference.
No.
But anyway, so they teach all the dogs to stand up, so he can't tell which one is which. So he's like, "Oh, I'll just have to kill all of them. No, I'll just kill you, kids. It's fine. You can go." So they leave with all the dogs. What happens to the dogs?
Oh, good point. I don't think they tell us, do they?
I don't think they do. I think they
just-
just get to take the dogs home.
Well, I mean, they were trying to give them away for free, and I think they gave away quite a few of them before Mr. Burns took them.
Well, I'll tell you what. Well, they're like, they don't want to be broken up, the dogs. And I was like, oh, it's like slavery.
Sad.
Think about that next time you get a dog, anybody out there, that it was ripped away from its parents and its siblings.
Okay, think about the fact that it's a dog,
Yeah, but
not a person.
but they still love each other. They still love their siblings.
I don't know. I mean, I got a dog from a pet store, and it was housed with its brother,
Yeah.
and it was fine. It didn't seem to mind.
Why? Because it didn't write you a petition?
It didn't.
Did it sing old spirituals?
It didn't cry.
Nobody knows the trouble I feel.
Seemed very happy with me. Never heard a thing about the brother.
All right. Oh, no? Now I never brought it up?
Oh, not once.
Your dog was like, fuck that guy.
yep.
He still owes me money. All right. Well, good. Anyway, that's basically the episode. I mean, not a lot of... It's The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So...
There's
pl-
not much
the
substance.
plots are always super simple, and then it's joke. Which
It's
this
entertaining,
episode,
though.
This episode was funny,
Yeah.
very funny. Excellent show. I can't imagine the show ever not being good. The writers on the show are fantastic.
They are pretty good.
All right, so I mean, it's not like they're gonna, Matt Groening's a smart guy.
He'll know when to end it
Yeah.
before it, loses its funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not like the show's going to be on for another 30 years.
Of course not. Look, God, can you imagine a cartoon for 30 years? And I bet you the kids wouldn't get any older either.
Well, yeah, they haven't got any older in 6 years.
Ugh. 30 years, Bart's still a child.
Right.
His poor mother.
Could you imagine a world? Anyway, so the movie we saw, the film.
Circle of Friends.
Yeah, this is Carol's pick.
Yeah,
So-
I finally got to choose what we saw at the movie theater, and it was amazing.
So Carol's gonna go. It was amazing. Is a stretch.
I liked
It
it.
was fine.
Ladies, it's an amazing movie. Guys, just suck it up. So, it starts out with 3 little girls who are best friends getting their first communion. And then it skips ahead pretty quick to when they're going to university.
Yeah, nothing important happened from first communion to when they start going to college together.
No, I mean, okay.
We don't need to see or hear about any of that.
It really does jump out. It's just showing that they were friends when they were little.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying the movie is like, here they are as kids, now they're adults. Fuck it, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what happened.
Well, I mean,
We don't need to see how they became the women they are. It's like looking at two. I mean, obviously it's different actors because it's or actresses because it's little kids and then they're adults. But it's like they might as well be different people with the growth that you go from like 7 years old to 18 in a university.
yeah. Well, what happens is that Nan is the pretty one.
Yeah,
and
Barbara.
they're kind of establishing their characters in this very beginning. Okay, Nan's pretty. And Bernadette, they call her Bernie.
Bernadette.
She is like thicker. Or Benny. They call her Benny.
She's a thick girl.
She is. She's like, they make a reference to her being, like, oh, I can't remember, like, good stock or whatever. Like, she's just solid. Yeah. And then Eve is an orphan who's being raised by the nuns.
We love orphans here on Massive
So,
Lake.
yeah. So Benny is the only child. Nan's pretty and poor.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got the orphan. So I guess Nan's family had moved into the city. And so they didn't see her for a long time. But it was Benny and Eve.
The Jets. The Jets.
Right.
Benny and the Jets.
Benny and Eve stayed friends. And Eve gets to go to university and stay in her parents' cottage. Or I guess she doesn't stay there, but she gets her parents' cottage when she becomes of age. Like, she inherited it.
Yeah. The fuck cottage.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they use it to party and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And Benny still has to take the train every day to and from like, she lives off in like a little small knob glen or something.
This takes place in the 1950s, and are we in England?
No, I thought it was Ireland. It's Dublin. It's Ireland.
Yeah, Ireland, yeah.
So she's going to university in Dublin.
The Emerald Isle.
So she has to take the train every day. She's really unhappy about it. Like, she wants to have more independence and be able to stay and hang out with her friends more. And she meets Jack, who is played by
Chris.
Chris O'Donnell. And, Minnie Driver plays Benny.
Yeah.
I don't really remember the other two. They're not as in...
Minnie Driver, she was in something else, right?
I'm sure. So anyways, Benny is like totally into Jack, and Nan wants to with somebody rich. That's like her whole thing is she's tired of being poor, and she wants to get with somebody who's going to be able to take care of her. And she gets her sights on the rich family that's actually paying for Eve to go to university. I'm trying to remember the name.
Of?
The dude that she's after.
The dude?
The dude.
Pat.
No.
I'm not sure. No, Minnie Driver. You know what she was? While you try to think of the dude, Minnie Driver was in a TV show last year called You and Me with Pat. I can't remember his name now, but anyway, it was a BBC comedy like thing, and we sometimes, because we get CBC, the Canadian broadcasting, since we're in Detroit,
Right.
we're near Windsor. Sometimes they'll show some of the BBC shows. So that's how I got to see it. But I do believe this is only like her second movie
Okay.
and her first like wide release American movie. So
Well, she's pretty. I think she's the prettiest.
She's thick.
She's thick, but she's pretty.
Is she the prettiest? I mean, yeah, I'd have to say probably yes.
I mean, Eve is like kind of homely and small, and then Nan's pretty, but she's like harsh. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with you.
So she's after Simon Westward. That's his name. I remember now.
Simon
Westward.
Westward.
Yeah. And
Westward ho.
there's this like dance they're all going to, right? Now Simon's older. He's not in university or anything, but they run into him while they're out.
Yeah, he's like what is he? Some kind of professional, right?
I don't know. His family's rich. That's all I know.
Oh yeah, he's a rich playboy.
Yeah. So, like, Jack asks Benny to go to the dance with them. And she thinks, like, she's all excited. She's like, oh, he asked me to the dance. And then,
Heartbreaking.
yeah, then her friends are like, yeah, we're all going. We're in a group.
Yeah, he asked us all.
It's a gang. We'll be fun.
He wants to have sex with all of us.
Right. And I think he does. I think that he's trying to figure out which one he wants.
I think he's trying to figure out whoever's going to have sex. It's the 50s. So it's like, he's like, not all of these girls, then they go to a Catholic college too. 'Cause
Right.
they're all, I mean, it's Ireland. They're all hardcore Catholics. So, a hardcore Catholic, it's the 1950s. It's going to be real tough for him to have sex premarital. So I think he's kind of like, who's gonna give it up?
Right. So then they put Benny in this dress that is so indecent. Like the only thing saving her is that her nipples are covered. I mean, it's all of her boobs practically are showing. So she's really embarrassed. I don't know, like she's like, oh, you cut too much out. So I guess they were like altering it to make it look sexy, but it was almost indecent.
Oh yeah, it was one of those dresses that was like up to the neck with the frill,
Right.
and then they cut it down to look better. But yeah, especially even now, but especially by 50 standards, I mean, it was scandalous.
And then Jack proceeds to dance with everybody else and not her. Mm-hmm. And she's like sitting there embarrassed in this low cut dress, and she even like spills something down her cleavage, and like some guys are like laughing at her. And she starts to cry.
Yeah.
And then that's when he comes over to talk to her, and he's like,
my weakness, crying women.
Maybe. But, he's like, what's wrong? And she yells at him. She's like, he's like, I was just coming to ask you to dance. And she's like, yeah, it took you long enough and stuff. And he's like, oh, I was just saving you the best for last. Mm-hmm. He's a smooth talker, this Jack.
He tries to be.
He tries to be, yeah.
Do you think that he's attractive?
Chris O'Donnell? Yeah.
Eh.
He's cute. He's got like the
He's-
boyish
Yeah, he looks like a little boy.
boyish charm.
I guess.
Well, I mean, okay, Eve's dating this guy named Aiden, who is pretty nondescript. Mm-hmm. Just dark-haired dude. And Simon Westward is all right. I mean,
do you think they had to sell this movie from him, right? Based on him.
I guess.
I mean, Fried Green Tomatoes. Not that he was a huge role in that, but and
he was the
School
older brother.
Ties and Scent of a Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, big one. And then the Three Musketeers, obviously. Mm-hmm. Can you name the Three Musketeers?
Oh, jeez.
I think we did this once before.
We did, and I couldn't.
I remember all the people in this movie.
Ugh. I don't even know if I can name one Musketeer right now.
Well, Chris O'Donnell. I gave it to you.
Oh, you mean the actors? Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. And who's I think he plays D'Artagnan, I think.
No,
The other
Chris
guy.
O'Donnell plays D'Artagnan.
Oh, okay. Chris O'Donnell's D'Artagnan, and then Athos, Porthos, and Legatus or whatever.
I can't remember the other one.
Aramis. Athos, Porthos, and Aramis. Those are the three musketeers. Yeah, you remember. We talked about it before. The hottest one of all of them.
Kiefer Sutherland.
No, hotter than Kiefer Sutherland, hotter than Charlie Sheen, hotter than Chris O'Donnell.
Ooh.
Oliver Platt, baby!
Ew.
Oliver Platt, the hottest.
No.
Oh, poor Oliver Platt. And then Tim Curry's the bad guy, and then Rebecca De
Okay,
Mornay.
why are we not talking about the Three Musketeers?
And then Rebecca De Mornay.
I want to talk about Circle of Friends.
Interrupt me.
Yeah, that's my job.
Talk about Circle of Friends. I thought we were talking about fried green tomatoes, but go ahead.
So, anyways, they start dancing and stuff.
Anyways, you know who wrote Fried Green Tomatoes real quick?
What the frick? Who?
Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. Fanny Flagg.
Awesome.
Do you know who Fanny Flagg is?
No.
She was a frequent guest on
I don't know.
The Match Game.
Awesome.
Brett Summers, and that's with an S, actual S, not like anyways. Brett Summers.
So, is it because you fell asleep during this movie
And
that you're
Charles
just trying
Nelson.
to find things you can talk about because you weren't paying any attention and you so love the sound of your voice?
And Charles Nelson Riley. And Richard Dawson. Dickie Dawson. Yeah, I didn't fall asleep in the movie, but maybe I wasn't giving it my full attention.
You were not.
Fall
trying to
asleep.
Do other things. So
I thought we were
she's
supposed to keep that on the down low, right? Keep that off the air. Keep that on AOL.
I'm going to turn off my mic and just leave you to it.
You don't have the power to turn off your mic. I do.
I can walk away.
Yeah, you do have the power to do that. Or do you? Check under your chair. There are straps. There's no straps.
So Jack
Yeah.
is in medical school
Oh.
or pre-med,
Is his last name Kevorkian?
His-
Because
his-
I know what his future holds.
right? His dad is also a doctor, and there's a lot of pressure on him to become a doctor, but he's not sure he really wants to. Mm-hmm. He's like grossed out by the sight of blood. And they're doing an autopsy, and they're talking about how the corpse they're about to cut open, how he died of syphilis.
Yeah. He's riddled with it. Riddled with syphilis.
Poor bastard went crazy before he knew what happened to him. Yeah.
Neurosyphilis.
Yeah.
The best kind.
And so as soon as they start cutting the body, he pukes.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a great sign for being a doctor.
No, not at all.
And for
He's
Benny,
also really bad at science.
right? I don't know about that.
No, I'm joking.
For Benny,
I'm joking.
her parents are putting a lot of pressure on her to take over the family business, which is like
Being a cow.
an alteration shop or something. Like it's a store, a little shop.
Grazing.
You're a jerk.
But that's how they treat her. I mean, now, listen. Mini Driver, more like Maximum Driver. Oh my god. That's terrible. I'm just joking though. Minnie Driver is a very beautiful woman, and she's a good actress too, and she's very good in this. But I'm just giving you, everyone that's listening to this, I'm just giving you a preview of how they treat her in the movie.
They do.
This is how they pretend, and this is the Hollywood thing too. They pretend like, pretty attractive woman Minnie Driver that might be a couple pounds heavier than an anorexic supermodel. They pretend like, oh my god, she's a disgusting pig.
right.
But that's how they treat her in the movie. But yes, dad owns some kind of shop.
And he has a guy working for him, some Weasley guy,
Oh yeah.
Sean. Sean's his name. And they're pushing her too to date Sean. And he's gross. Like
He's awful.
he's just like very overtly, callously, like crudely hitting on her. They go on a date to the movies. He tries to put his hand on her shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he says like nasty things to her.
Picture an Irishman. That's him. I really got you with that one, huh?
That was terrible.
I'm just joking. He really is bad, though.
Yeah. So she ends up having like kind of a blowout with her parents. Like she loses it and like yells at her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wants, like they're talking about the business and Sean, and she's just like, "What you want from me? Why do you even send me to the university? Because you just want me here taking care of this store." And she's like, you take me up and show me what I can't have, and then march me back down here. And she's like, you've been trying my whole life to give me things, but they're always the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can imagine would have to be a really hurtful thing to hear from your daughter.
Oh, you're breaking me heart, lassie.
And she's like, and you want me to marry bloody Sean Walsh? So she, swears at him too. And her dad falls down dead.
Yep, he died of a heart attack.
Because she yelled at him.
He died of the truth.
I think I would be catatonic somewhere. Like if I was yelling at my mom and she dropped dead.
If I was really that angry and I was right, I'd probably be like, it's just justice. It's God. It's God. God's choosing it. God said, you better, yeah, Creighton, we're gonna get you. I don't know. I can't think of an Irish slang word. You puddinghead, you potato head.
Okay.
We're gonna get you.
And before this happened,
I'm Irish, God.
Before this happened, Eve had started using her cabin to host parties, and she's dating Aiden.
Oh yes.
I don't think they were sleeping together.
Not at first.
I mean, eventually they do.
Basically, she's having parties, and then it came to be like, why don't you come and just by yourself?
Yeah. Well, and they're playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the funniest lines in the movie. He beat her in chess, and she's like, "Okay, what do you want?" He's like, "You have to hold it in your hand for 3 minutes." She's like, you can barely even understand her accent. She's like, "Okay, I'll hold it, but I won't have you moving it about."
That's what it was like being a woman in the 50s.
Right? And then like Benny is like practically raping Chris O'Donnell's character.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can tell she really wants to. And he's talking about maybe he'll go get some like whatever they called condoms back then, lambskins or whatever. And then she's all embarrassed about it.
Why is he using a condom? What is he, fucking Navy sailor? Is he a sailor?
I think he doesn't want to get her pregnant because it's the 50s.
Yeah, but I mean, back then people didn't use condoms.
Well, Nan didn't.
Yeah.
She is also using the cottage when no one is there to hook up with Simon Westward.
Mm-hmm.
She gave him her virginity, which it's kind of funny that he didn't. He just assumed like
Here
she.
you go. Here's my virginity.
No, but I mean, he just assumes that like she's not a virgin or something because he looks so surprised when she's like had a towel and said, "Oh, just in case," I don't know. I think
it's funny that she knew how to prepare, though.
Well, I'm sure her mom talked to her. Don't I mean?
I guess I don't know.
I think most girls assume there will be blood. The first time.
It's a good name for a movie. There will be blood.
And she thinks
it's gonna be all about menstruation, though.
And red velvet cake. So she thinks he's in love with her.
Yeah.
He is not. He's just like using her, and it's so obvious.
Of course, yeah, he wants sex.
And she gets pregnant and expects that he's going to marry her, and he's like, he's a Protestant.
Yeah.
And she's Catholic, and he's like, he says something like insulting, like he's always saying "you people." You're talking about the Catholics and stuff. And she kept saying, "I'm not like them. I'm like you," when they're like together and stuff. So then, like, they're fighting. She's pregnant. He's telling her to have an abortion. And she's like, "I'm Catholic. I can't kill my baby." So all of a sudden, now she's Catholic.
Right.
Yeah. So she decides to do the shittiest fucking thing.
Throw herself down a flight of stairs.
So, no. So,
drinks a bunch of alcohol.
no, he offered to give her money for an abortion. She doesn't want one.
Yeah, I know.
But, Okay, so Benny's dad had died. So she's stuck at home helping her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack's like missing her and sad because she's not around anymore. And
Yeah, Jack starts falling in love with her.
right. And Nan invites him to a party, gets him drunk, and has sex with him.
Mm-hmm. And then says it's his.
Yep. Which, you know, I'm sorry, but I'm kind of pissed at him too, though. I mean, it's not like he's innocent here.
She got him pretty drunk.
Not too drunk to have sex.
I don't even know if they had sex.
Like, you think maybe he was so drunk he blacked out?
Yeah.
I guess that's possible. And he felt really guilty about it too.
Of course. He killed himself.
He did not. What the fuck?
Oh, well, that was a different
Wrong movie. So he has to go and tell Benny that he's marrying, because he has honor, marrying Nan, who he got pregnant.
Yep.
And her poor little heart breaks. And Eve is having a Christmas party and invites everybody to the cottage. And Nan...
Eve detects this out, by the way.
Yeah. Nan and Jack just decide to show up like idiots. And Eve gets so mad that she comes at her with a knife.
Mm-hmm.
And she's backing away from her and she cuts her elbow. Like she backs into the door and breaks glass, cuts her elbow. And Jack's able to fix her. He's able to like hop in and take care of it. And so this becomes like the thing where like he realizes that he can be a doctor. He can handle blood when he has to. So it's kind of, that part's kind of good for him. But yeah, you're right. She had pieced it together because they left a newspaper in the fireplace.
Yeah.
And she's like, I knew somebody had been using it, and now I figured out who.
Yeah, and now I know what happened.
Yeah, so she calls her out for all of it, and then because she's already been called out, then she decides to fess up and be honest and say, oh yeah, it's not yours.
Yeah.
So it ends with her going on a train somewhere, and I'm not sure if she's going on a train to get the abortion.
She's going to a nunnery to have the baby in disgrace.
Something like
And
that.
then they'll give it up for adoption, and then she'll come back and be fine.
We'll never know because we don't get any follow up on her.
I think it's in the book.
But yeah, so then he apologizes to Benny. And she's like, it'll take time, but, you know, maybe I'll give you a chance. And eventually, time goes on and they forgive each other and they end up together and it's happy.
Yeah.
But I liked the movie a lot.
It was fine. There was a lot of weird shit going on in the movie.
What do you mean weird shit?
Well, the guy tries to rape Benny, for one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I should mention that.
That's not in the book, but...
And he's stealing money, too, from the business. Like, she had suspected it.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
And so, yeah, then he's trying to rape her, and she hits him with a pillow, and it pops open, and there's money everywhere. So he's been robbing them blind the whole time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, getting him out of there so he's no longer stealing money will help.
For sure. Now their business will actually be able to succeed.
Right.
And they'll be able to buy more whiskey or scotch or whatever. No, whiskey, right? Yeah, that's Ireland. What?
Yeah, whiskey, yeah. It's her and her mom. They don't drink whiskey.
They're Irish. Of course they drink whiskey.
I don't see her and her mom sitting around getting
The
drunk.
mom's lactateless whiskey. Oh, have a wee nip. That's where that phrase comes from. Have a wee nip.
Oh, okay.
I'm just joking. From the nipple. The mom's nipple.
That's gross.
Yes, it is.
Stop talking about nipples.
But it's a joke.
Haha.
I'll talk about nipples all I want on AOL because it's okay. It's not cheating.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to do it because I have honor.
So do I. I told you I wouldn't
I'm
do
like
it.
Chris O'Donnell. I have honor.
You weirdo.
With honors.
So what you keep saying it was okay. I mean, like,
Yeah, it's a fine movie. It's a bit long and boring. There are some boring parts to the movie.
I disagree. I don't think
I
it's
know you
boring
disagree.
at all.
The main story is interesting between Benny and the Jets and Chris O'Donnell. But that love triangle, you know, that classic love
Right.
triangle. But a lot of the side stories are not as interesting. obviously the one girl getting pregnant, it's like there's definitely drama there, but it takes a long time to get going. It's dull at places. Just, I don't know. It just did not hold my attention. And the directing is real flat. Like, it's very pedestrian, cookie cutter, bang, bang, bang.
See, I think that the dialogue is interesting.
Dialogue's interesting because it comes from a book.
And it's funny. Like, there's a lot of jokes in there that are funny to me, or a lot of lines that are funny.
Yeah.
So
There's some humor, for sure.
Yeah.
But there
it makes you feel things,
right.
and it makes you laugh.
But there are stretches in there where it makes me feel like what it would be like to be in a coma.
You're such an ass. But I also enjoy their Irish accents.
Yeah, I do too, honestly.
Honestly, like, somebody with an Irish or a British accent could just talk to me for like hours. It
But-
wouldn't even. They read me the dictionary, I'd be happy.
Several of them are not Irish, though, so it's hit or miss sometimes.
Eh,
Chris O'Donnell is definitely not Irish.
no, he tries. So
Oh,
I don't know. I think
Faith and Bagorna.
I get why you don't like it that much, but ladies, drag your men because it's worth it.
Yeah.
Kicking
Go
and
ahead.
screaming to the movie theater.
Yeah, I guess.
And I'm going to read the book too.
Oh, have fun. Have fun reading the book.
I will. I love books.
We watched another movie that was based on a book, didn't we? A book that you read.
We did.
Didn't we watch... what is it called? I think Bradford Pitt's in it.
Legends of the Fall.
Yeah, we watched that, right?
Yeah.
We talked about that on the show,
Yeah.
I think.
And
Can't
I
remember.
did read that book too. Yes.
So many episodes. I don't even remember.
I know we do. We have been doing this for a while now.
Anyway, we'll end this episode as we end every week with our blockbuster pick of the week. Carol, this week,
Yes.
this is what I'm recommending to everybody.
Lay it on me.
You talked about Charlie Sheen earlier.
Uh-huh.
We talked about, the Three Musketeers. There's a film just came out on VHS. Was in movie theaters last year. Flew under the radar a little bit. We didn't watch it, obviously, because I don't think we've. Oh, we did see the Charlie Sheen movie, the one where he's
The Chase.
in the car. But Terminal Velocity. You familiar with this?
No, I've never heard of it.
This also stars a man named James Gandolfini.
Okay.
Not sure exactly who that is. Natasha Kinski and Christopher McDonald, who I like a lot. He was in Quiz Show.
Okay.
He played Jack Barry, the host. That's 21.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's basically it's about a Russian woman. It's a spy movie. It's like a spy action movie. It's pretty interesting. And there's a lot of it's one of those action movies like we talked about before. I'm not a huge fan of certain types of action movies, but it's one of those action movies where it has some intelligence behind it, and it's a fun movie. It's sort of, I don't want to say it's like Speed, but it's,
I don't think anything is like Speed.
well, anyway, Charlie Sheen plays this skydiver, this daredevil skydiver, which, that's where terminal velocity
Right.
comes from, right? And he gets caught up in this, Russian mob plot. And that's basically it. Natasha Kinski's like the love interest. It's, it's a fun movie, though.
Okay.
It's a bit of a cross between Point Break and Speed, I would say.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it, so I think go out and rent it. Enjoy yourself some Charlie Sheen. And that is my pick for the week.
So you got a pick for the ladies and a pick for the gentlemen.
Sure.
Compromise, do both.
Yeah. Yeah, go to the movie theater one day and then rent Terminal Velocity on VHS the other day.
There you go. That's your weekend.
Have fun. All right, take us home.
All right. So don't forget to tell your friends about us and give us the stars and write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com. Let us know what you think, what
Keep
you want.
those letters
and
coming.
yeah, we will be sure to get back to you.
All right, bye.
Bye.